What could be a break for investigators in the murders of a Massachusetts woman and her baby daughter. The woman's husband, Neil Entwistle, has agreed to go to the U.S. Embassy in London to answer questions related to the murders. Last Sunday, Rachel and her daughter Lillian were found shot to death in the master bedroom of their home. Her husband stunned police by seeking refuge at his parents' place in England. He says he's not even sure he'll come back to this country for the funerals. British police say Entwistle is not under arrest and is not currently a suspect in the murders of his wife and child. Joining us now, Rob Celovich, a senior investigator for BostonDetective.com, and Charles Moure, an international law expert. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you, John.
Rob, you know, if I had been overseas when my wife and baby turned up dead, I mean, the first thing I would do is jump on a plane and come over and help police with the investigation. The fact that this guy isn't doing that sure makes him look suspicious.
Well, it does. I mean, I think that's most people's first reaction would be to, come right home and see what you could do to solve this this case. His actions definitely would, lend someone to think that he's got more to hide or something he knows that he wants to hide. But
just looking suspicious doesn't make him a murderer.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, and I'm sure the police are investigating, a lot of the avenues that, they need to.
Charles, from a legal standpoint, is he safer being in England than coming to this country?
Well, he's allowed to stall the process, to slow the process down. If he wants to fight it, he can fight extradition. And the U.S. government will have to invoke the extradition treaty to have him physically removed from the U.K. and brought back to Massachusetts to stand trial. And I believe that's essentially what he's trying to do. He's just trying to slow the process down.
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who, if they know they could be facing a death penalty case, they try to skedaddle to a country that won't extradite them to the United States because that country opposes the death penalty. But there's no death penalty in Massachusetts. If he were charged in this case, he wouldn't be looking at death, would he?
No, he most likely would not. You're correct. There is not the death penalty is not used in Massachusetts, and it's unlikely in the near future that it will be. But frankly, he might not have known that. He was a citizen of the UK. He was new to this country. A lot of people in other parts of the world think that the death penalty is used in most of the U.S. So he might not have been aware of the fact that he was not subjected to that in Massachusetts. Also, under the extradition treaty, the new extradition treaty with the UK, the 2003 treaty, he can ask in the extradition proceeding that Massachusetts not invoke a death penalty, that be part of his extradition.
Rob,
and that's actually in the treaty.
Give us your detective's view of this crime scene, what we know of it. Apparently, Lillian and Rachel were both shot. I guess Rachel was shot through the head. The baby was shot through the chest, and the bullet entered her mother's body. Apparently, her mother was lying beneath her at that point and already dead. They were wrapped in blankets and sort of almost posed on a bed. No evidence of sexual assault, not a lot of blood. What does that say to you?
Well, I mean, the lack of forced entry says that, obviously the attacker was either let in or was familiar to the victim. The fact that they were posed or placed on the bed would indicate that the attacker had some sort of special feeling toward the victim, which would, preclude him from treating them like trash or throwing them haphazardly about the room. So, I mean, the crime scene would tend to indicate that the person who perpetrated this was someone who was known to the victim.
Rob Celovich and Charles Moure, thank you both.
Thank you very much.